doing, Kyle?
Oh, you never played this game before? So all you do is see how fast you can go without hitting any of your fingers. You want to try?
Sure.
I got you. Right? So you're seeing how fast you can go without hitting any of your fingers. And it's just,
You just stabbed me in my reticular layer.
To get to the reticular layer, the knife first went through all 5 layers of the epidermis on the palm. The epidermis is the most superficial region of the skin. The bottom layer, connected to the dermis, is stratum basal. This is where the stem cells actively divide into 2 daughter cells. One cell stays in the stratum as a stem cell, while the other travels upwards into the next stratum, stratum spinosum, or also known as the prickly layer. This thick layer contains a web-like system of pre-keratin filaments that allows it to resist tension and pulling. It gets its name from the spiky appearance of keratinocytes. The third layer, stratum granulosum, is composed of flattened cells. This layer is where keratinization begins. Since Joey was stabbed in the palm of his hand, the epidermis contains an extra layer, the stratum lucidum. This layer only appears in thick skin and contains 2 to 3 rows of clear, flat, dead keratinocytes that add another layer of protection. The fifth and outermost layer is stratum corneum, or the horny layer. This is the thickest, containing 20 to 30 rows of dead keratinized cells. This layer serves to protect the deeper cells from the environment, prevents water loss, and protects against abrasions and penetrations.
the region that underlies the epidermis and was also stabbed is called the dermis. The dermis is made up of mostly fibrous connective tissue and is vascular. It contains nerves, blood vessels, and lymphatic vessels. It also contains epidermal hair follicles, oil glands, and sweat glands. The dermis has 2 distinct regions, which include the papillary layer and the reticular layer. The papillary layer is a superficial layer of areolar connective tissue consisting of loose, interlacing collagen, elastic fibers, and blood vessels. The loose fibers allow phagocytes to patrol. Finger-like projections called dermal papillae that go up into the epidermis contain capillary loops, free nerve endings, and touch receptors. In thick skin, like the palm of Joey's hand, dermal papillae lie on top of dermal ridges, which give rise to epidermal ridges. The reticular layer makes up almost 80% of dermal thickness. This layer consists of coarse, dense, fibrous connective tissue. Many elastic fibers provide stretch recoil properties. Collagen fibers provide strength and resiliency.
When the body's barriers are compromised, such as a stab wound, tissue repair is the process that occurs. There's 2 different ways of occurring: regeneration and fibrosis. The first step of this process is inflammation stage. The severed blood vessel causes the bleeding, as you can see here, as well as the scab on the top. These are your arteries on the bottom, and then the veins on the side. Severed blood vessels bleed, and then the inflammatory chemicals are released by injured tissue cells, mast cells, and others. Local blood vessels become more permeable, allowing white blood cells, fluid, clotting proteins, and other plasma proteins to seep into the injured area. Clotting occurs, and the surface exposed to the air dries and forms a scab on the top. Moving along to step 2, the organization restores blood supply. The clot is replaced by the granulation tissue seen in the middle, which restores the vascular supply. Fibroblasts produce collagen fibers that bridge the gap, and macrophages phagocytize dead and dying cells and other debris. Surface epithelial cells multiply and migrate over the granulation tissue. Moving on to step 3. This is the regeneration and fibrosis effect. The scab detaches, as you can see, it's gone, and fibrous tissue matures and contracts. Epithelium thickens and begins to resemble adjacent tissue. Results in a fully regenerated and epithelium underlying scar tissue, which may or may not be visible.
Hey, I'm Joey.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Kyle, and here's some fun facts for you guys.
Did you know that paper cuts hurt so much because the cut often bleeds very little, leaving the skin's pain receptors open to air?
And did you know that 70 to 80% of the dust particles are made up of dead cells?
You learn something new every day, huh? So, thank you guys for watching our video. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you guys had fun watching it. And have a good rest of your semester. And we love you, Dr. Predmore.